has defeated world champion Garry Kasparov in an absolutely stunning.
Beating a professional player at Go is a long-standing challenge of artificial intelligence. The number of possible configurations of the ball is more than the number of atoms in the universe. So far, AlphaGo has beaten every challenge we've given it, but we won't know its true strength until we play somebody who is at the top of the world, like Lisa Doll.
A match like no other is about to get underway in South Korea.
Welcome to the DeepMind Challenge. The whole world is watching. Can Lee Sedol find AlphaGo's weakness? Whoa. Is there, in fact, a weakness?
Yo, what up guys? I got something pretty special for you today, and it's a little different to what I usually do. Other than mobile app development, I have a deep interest in artificial intelligence. So today we're going to build an AI bot for STARCRAFT 2. Now if you don't know what STARCRAFT is, then that's alright. I'll explain as I go along. And also, although it will help, you don't need any prior coding experience to do what I'm about to do. All you need is a computer and a willingness to learn, basically. So just a little background into AI. Artificial intelligence, like the goal basically is to understand what intelligence is. And a really good way to test whether something is intelligent or not is through games. And so one of the big moments was in '97 when IBM's Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in chess. And more recently in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol in the game of Go. Both these games are universally agreed that you need some high level of intelligence to play. And what's crazy is that AI has exceeded the expectations of pretty much every AI expert's prediction for when these games will be beaten by a computer. And so after chess and Go, the next natural challenge for artificial intelligence is StarCraft 2. So today we're going to build a bot for StarCraft using Python. And maybe the end goal for this, for me, is to build a bot that can beat me. We'll see how we go. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, first of all, I'm gonna link this website below. These guys are awesome. ES Champ. They also run StarCraft bot tournaments. So if you're able to make a bot, then you can submit yours in, and they'll play in a tournament. And if you win or get pretty high up, then you can win some money as well. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, just follow this article on how to get started. It's actually pretty easy to get set up. And basically, one thing is you're actually gonna have to download the game itself, which is free to play, so that's cool. But it's like 30 gigs or something, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, so follow all these instructions, and then after you've gone here where you basically clone the repository, I cloned it onto my desktop. Okay, and yeah, from here is where I'm gonna start showing you guys how to build this bot. Okay, so go to that folder, and like I said, in the bot you'll find this bot.py file, and so we're going to open that up in just any text editor. So I've got that open here already, and I'm using a text editor called Atom, and basically this is just a blank bot that we have. So yours might look just slightly different to mine. Just make sure to import all this stuff, and I just added a couple of basic functions just so that it helps us out on the in the terminal. Okay, so let's also open up a terminal and just scroll a bit down, and basically I'm just going to run this and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go to my desktop, so go to your folder where the bot is. I called it first bot, and also on that website that I linked, we have to do this step. So create and activate a virtual environment. So just copy this, I'm using Python 3, so I'm just going to put a 3 there. And then I'm using a Mac, so just copy this one. And install the bot's Python requirements. And the last thing to do is to run it. There we go. By the way, if you run it just immediately, it's going to be super fast. So I'm just going to put this tag called real time. I'll explain a little bit more on this later on, but let's hit enter and hopefully our game is going to run. So basically, when you make changes and you run the game, it's going to restart the game from the beginning. And so that can be very time consuming, especially if you're just making little minor changes and you have to restart the game each time, right? That's very time consuming. So if you don't put this tag real time, which I will do later on, it's not going to be real time, right? It's not going to be like the normal game speed. It will just be really sped up. Okay, so if you haven't seen already, this is what STARCRAFT looks like. And basically, we didn't put anything in the method, so it's not doing anything. Okay, so basically the idea of STARCRAFT is it's a strategy game. And basically you're versing some other person that should be located here. And you're going to just mine some minerals, collect some resources and build some buildings. And through those buildings, you're going to build an army. And you're basically going to try to kill the opponent, right? That's a very simple explanation of the game, but that's really what it is. One key thing that makes STARCRAFT different to, say, games like Go and chess is this idea of incomplete information. And what I mean by that is you can only see like where you are. Okay, so if I take this probe and then I kind of pop him over here, you can see like the darkness, which we call the fog of war. You can start to unveil itself, right? So I can go to my guy, the opponent, which is going to be over there. And you can see that the opponent is trying to scout me as well. So basically, because you can't see what each other's doing, that's what makes this strategy game really interesting, as opposed to, like I said, Go and chess, which has complete information. You can see the whole board at any given time. So in this game, because of that fact, you can't see them all the time. There's a lot of lying going on. Interestingly enough, a lot of people compare the game of STARCRAFT to poker. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels to a lot of different games. But yeah, basically, right now we're not doing anything, so we'd like to build something, right? So if we come over here, the method that you're gonna really be using is this one, on step. Okay, and this iteration, I don't know exactly how long this time is refreshing, like every 50 milliseconds or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but it is quite fast. Okay, so every iteration is just going to keep checking what to do. Okay, so we have nothing in it right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is just await self.distribute workers. And this method is actually a pre-built method. And basically what it does is it distributes the workers. So if I bring this probe over here, right, if I manually control it, it just stays there. In this game, you don't want this to happen. You don't want your workers to be doing nothing, right? So you want them all to be mining. So if I'm going to go over here and I build a building, then you want it to come back automatically. Okay, and that's what this method will basically do. It will just automatically distribute the workers evenly across your mineral patches. Okay, so I'm just going to run through basically what I'm going to do to beat this opponent. Okay, so I'm going to choose the race Protoss, which is the one that you see. And in STARCRAFT, there's 3 races. There's Protoss, which is like this high-tech alien. And then there's Terran, which is the humans. And there's Zerg, which is like a bug insect alien race. Okay, so there's 3 races, and I'm just going to choose Protoss. It looks like my opponent is Terran. Okay, and basically, so we can start building these structures. Okay, so the first structure that you can only build is a gateway. And if you look up here, you can see the money going up. We're not mining any gas right now. That's for like really high-tech units. And then you got this one here, the supply. Okay, so you got 12 out of 13. So right now, basically, I've got 12 workers out of an available 23 supply. You can think of it like food or population. If this becomes like close to being full, then you're gonna have to build another one of these pylons. Like another one of these ones. Okay, and these things you have to constantly build throughout the game. Otherwise you'll be supply blocked. Okay, so you can see in my gateway there's some units that we can build, so I can just build a zealot. And then from here we can start working up our tech tree and start playing the game. Okay, now, so yeah, this is how you manually play it, right? So I'm gonna quit this and let's try to automate this process. Okay, so the first thing is we're gonna distribute the workers, and let's add another method. I want to say await self.build workers. Okay, so the workers are the little guys that help you get money, right? So you want to have a lot of these workers. There's a point at which there's too many workers for a particular base, so we'll take care of that. Okay, so let's come down here and I'm gonna make a method called asynchronous define and say build workers, and we're gonna have to pass through self. Self is basically where, like, the whole state of the game, like where you are right now. Okay, so in this method build workers, first of all we're gonna need to know where our base is. So I'm gonna call it Nexus because that's what it's called, but it's just a variable. And we're gonna put in this variable self.townhall. Town halls are just like your bases, and we're just gonna choose ones that are ready and just any of them. At the start of the game you only have one town hall structure, like one base, so it'll just be that one. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an if statement. So if if self can afford, so basically if you can afford a probe, which is just the little worker, and also our nexus is idle, so it's not doing anything, then what we're going to do is we're going to get the nexus and we're just going to train a probe. Okay, and one other thing is, remember how I said that there's a certain point at which you want to stop building probes. Like there's a certain point at which you have too many probes for one base, and so I'm going to put that condition in. I'm going to say, and also self workers dot amount is less than self dot town halls amount times 22. So 22 is basically on average how many probes you want on each base. You can go above or below this number, but yeah, just on average 22 is how many you want in a base, and self.townhalls amount is just how many bases you have. So we have one base. Okay, let's see how this looks. Also I want to change the map, so I want to say maps. Also, if you are wondering how I know all these little parameters, if you go to your bot file, if you open this run folder, or this run file, and if we just go down here, you'll see all the little here we go, all the little parameters that we can change. So computer difficulty, let's change that as well. Let's say it looks like it's on default to be very hard. Let's just start with very easy, and then we'll work our way up. So difficulty, yeah, let's make it very easy. And also I want to change the map. So if you followed these instructions, you would have had downloaded the maps. Okay, so you can choose whatever map you want to do, but I'm gonna say I want to play this map, Acropolis, and let's hit play. Okay, so hopefully like if we beat this very easy computer, and then we'll just work our way up, and then hopefully maybe the end goal is we can make a bot that can beat me. I've been playing this game for like 10 years, so that's going to be a challenge. Let's go to the bot file. So right now, all it should be doing is just making probes, right? So basically, if you've got the money to make a probe, which is 50 minerals, so right at the start of the game, we should just start making probes. Yep, there we go. You can see like, yeah, you can see it making probes. I also want to show you guys, like, as you make a probe, this number is going to go up. Okay, so this is, like I said, 13 is how many probes you have now. So we have 14th probe is making out of an available 15 supply. Okay, so once you get to past 14, you're gonna get supply blocked, and then that's when we're gonna need to build one of these pylons. Okay, so let's do that as well here. So await self dot, let's make a method called build pylons. So you can see, like, because we don't have any more supply, we can't really make any more units. Okay, so that's kind of like the food and the population for your army. Okay, so let's build some pylons. Okay, so I'm gonna come down here. Let's make another function. So async define build pylons, pass the self, and we're gonna do something similar, right? So we're gonna say I'm gonna say nexus. You know what? Let's just copy this guy. So know where your nexus is. Also, we're gonna have to define a position to where we can place the pylon. So this is where the strategy space can get really large, because you can put this pylon literally anywhere. Okay, so we're gonna have to decide where we want to put it. Okay, so for the beginning, let's just put it near our nexus. Okay, I'm gonna say position is equal to nexus dot position, and let's say towards our enemy. So enemy start location, I think it is start locations 0. And so basically we're saying, okay, start at the nexus, and then our enemy is like that direction. So let's go with a space of 10. And that's where we're going to place our thing. Okay, so now we have to build the actual pylon. Okay, so make sure always before you build a pylon or build anything that you check that you have enough money to buy it. Okay, so I'm going to say if, let's put one of these brackets. First of all, if self dot supply left is less than 3. So you don't want to build pylons non-stop. You only want to build them when you need them, right? So right now we're fully blocked. So maybe when we're at 12 out of 15 and we have like less than 3 supply left, like 12 or 13, that's when we'll build the pylon. Okay, so just as we need them. So self.supply left is smaller than 3. And we also want to check that we're not already building one, right? So self.already pending unit type dot pylon, and this is 0. Okay, so just make sure that you're not already building it, otherwise it's just going to continuously build them. And then if those conditions are met, then actually we should, like I mentioned earlier, you should also check if you can afford it. Unit type id dot pylon. Okay, so if all those conditions are true, then let's say await self dot build unit type id dot pylon, and we're going to put it near the position. Okay, so let's get out of this game. And just press your up arrow just to bring back the what you typed in earlier. So you can see, like, if we do real time at every single start of the game, like, it's going to take a while to check through it, but I'm just going to keep it at real time just so we can see the different changes that we make to our code. Okay, so what we want to check for now is we've been building workers non-stop. If we are running out of supply and you're not already building one and you can afford it, then let's build a pylon somewhere near the nexus. Okay, so after we build a pylon, that enables us to build our structures now, which enables us to build our army units. So the first thing that you have to build is a gateway. Okay, so you can see our little probe guy coming here. He's going to build a pylon, and in this ring we can build, like, once this is complete, we can build a gateway. Okay, that's the basic structure that you have to build. Okay, so a gateway actually costs 150 minerals. Whoops, shit. And so yeah, that's what we want to do now. Okay, so let's come over here and say await self.build gateway. And come down here, async define build gateway, and pass the self. Actually, as while we're here, since we're getting the idea of what's going on now, let's build a few methods. I'm going to say build gateway, build gas. Gas is these resources. There's two resources in this game. There's minerals and then there's gas. If you have gas, you can build more high-tech things. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna build gas and a gateway. So async define build gas self. Okay, so in the build gateway, the first thing we're gonna do is, first of all, let's say, so let's check a couple conditions first. So if self.structures, the first thing we need to check is if we have a pylon ready. So it's unit type ID pylon dot ready. Okay, and also make sure you can afford it. So self.can afford a gateway. And if that's the case, then we have to pick a pylon at which to build at. So you can see, like, we're just continuously building pylons now. So pylon equals self.structures unit type ID dot pylon. Let's pick one that's ready to go and just pick any one of them. Keep doing that. Okay, also let's check another condition here. If self.structures unit type ID dot gateway. So basically what I'm saying is, if I don't have a gateway already, actually I don't need to put that here. I could just put this here. So and not self structures gateway. So let's build a gateway if we don't already have one. Pick a pylon to build it around, and here we can say await self.build unit type ID and build a gateway. Where are we going to build it? We're going to build it near our pylon. Also, let's come down here and build some gas as well. Okay, so for the build gas method, so first let's just see if we have a gateway. Whoops. And for the nexus in our town halls, that's ready. We're gonna say VGS, so for Vespene gas, it's equal to self.Vespene geyser closer than 15 to the nexus. So in the game, there's these Vespene geysers all over the map. Okay, so we're just going to try to pick the ones that's close to our nexus. And let's do a for loop. So for each Vespene gas in the Vespene gases available, first of all, if we can't afford it, for Protoss, the gases are called assimilators. So if you can afford it, if you can't afford it, then just break out of it. Let's just pick a worker. So if worker equals to self dot select build worker and Vespene gas position. And basically, if we don't have a worker, then just break it. If not, so if we do have a worker, if we don't already have gas buildings, or we don't have any gas buildings that are closer than 1 to our Vespene geyser, then let's build a gas. Simulator. And we're going to build it close to our Vespene gas location. And then worker.stop q equals true. Okay, so let's have a look at that one. So I want to look at it in real time. Okay, so hopefully now, after we build a pylon, we're able to just build gateways on top of it. Okay, and we're also going to build some gas. Okay, so this is going to allow us to build the army that we want. Just while that's loading up though, I'm just going to go ahead and write the different methods that we're going to write next. Okay, so await self dot, we're going to build something called a cybernetics core. And await self dot, okay, let's see here. So when we get to 100 minerals, we're going to need to make a pylon. So pick a probe. Yep, there we go. There's a pylon. And then the distribute worker, this one here, the distribute worker is just going to make it go back to mine. And again, just to explain where did this number 22 come from? Optimally, you can have 16 on these 8 mineral patches. So ideally, you want 2 on each, plus 3 on each of these geysers, which is... Alright, so it looks like something died. Yeah, it looks like it's actually called assimilators with an S. Wait, hang on, let's read this error. No, I think it's got no S. So in a situation like this, we don't want to wait for the whole game to just reboot up, right? So this is when you can get rid of this real time. And it's going to speed it up. Oh shit. And then we can just zoom through the game. Alright, so we're going to build a cybernetics core. We're going to build some more gates. And then we're going to train some stalkers. Okay. So let's get this to load up. It's going to be really fast, so just brace yourselves. Sorry, we got an error because I have this function that we haven't built yet. So I'm just going to put a hash there, so we'll comment it out and let's build it again. But yeah, let's hash all these ones. So await, we're going to build 4 gates after this. So basically the strategy I'm going for is just a real basic old school kind of strategy. It's called a 4 gate. And we're just going to do a 1 base build. Okay, we're going to see how that takes us. Okay, like I said, we're gonna go from easy, like over here, we're gonna go from easy, very easy to very hard. So yeah, this is the game that's sped up, so it's not in real time. Okay, so you can see like these geysers are now built, and now we have a gateway. So from here we can actually build our army units. Now we're gonna need to put just a couple of tech buildings. Now, one rule of thumb in a game like this is you don't want to bank up any money. Like when you get money, you want to just spend it straight away, unless you're saving up for something particular, right? So yeah, so right now we're not doing anything, we're just mining. I think soon we might have some army attacking us, but let's build some stuff. Okay, so first thing is we're gonna build another tech building, which is, yep, look, that's our little army. These 3 marines are gonna kill us. Okay, so let's build a cybernetics core. So a cybernetics core is the tech building that allows us to build a stalker, which is this one. So it says, you can see there, it says requires a cybernetics core. So let's come down here and I'm gonna say async define build cyber core, pass the self. And now we can uncomment that, which we did. Oh, let's call this build cybercore. And it looks like we're getting wrecked right now because we don't have any units. We don't have any army units. We're just mining money. All right, so let's build a cybernetics core. So again, this is not too difficult. It's very similar to just building a gateway. So I'm just gonna kind of speed through this one. So if self.structures. So first of all, just check if gateway, if a pylon is ready. If it is, then let's pick one of these pylons. So it's self.structures unit type ID dot pylon. Pick one that's ready and just pick any one of them. And also let's check if self.structures unit type ID dot gateway is ready. So you need a gateway, that's the thing that we built. So after a gateway you can build a cybernetics core. So I'm gonna put a little comment here, if no cyber core then build one. Okay, because you don't want any more than one cybernetics core in this game, you just want one. So if not self.structures unit type ID dot cybernetics core. So if you don't have that, then also check if you can afford it. And the other thing you always want to check is that you're not already building it. Okay, so already pending unit type ID cybernetics core is equal to 0. Okay, so once those conditions are met, then finally we can just build our goddamn cybernetics core. And again, you have to tell it where you want to build it. So I want to build it near my pylon. Okay, so this pylon that I just chose earlier. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna have that game running in the background and we'll just build on top of it. Something's gone wrong. If self.structures, oh, I missed a bracket there. Okay, so finally, so we have the kind of tech now, like all the buildings ready to build our first attacking unit, and that unit is called a stalker. So we're gonna come back to these building the other gates. I'm gonna say await self.train stalkers. Okay, and come down here and we can say async def train stalkers pass yourself through. Okay, so with the stalker, oh yeah, I should actually keep, just as a good trend of, you should get into the habit of writing these. So build probes. The name kind of speaks for itself really, but build pylons, build gateway, build gas, build cybercore, and finally here, let's say build or train stalkers. Okay, now with this train stalkers, so basically we want to select one of our gateways. So go for gateway in self.structures unit type ID dot gateway. That's ready. So out of all the gateways that are currently ready, we're going to do a for loop through them. And again, we have to check, right? We're going to check if you can afford it. And also just make sure, the other thing we're going to check is we'll build it when it's idle, so when it's not currently building anything. If you don't put these kind of conditions in, it's just going to queue up the stalkers non-stop. Okay, and one bad thing about that is you don't want your money tied up by queuing up things that aren't built yet. Okay, so just pick the gateways that are free and then use that gateway to train a stalker. Okay, good. Now, so yep, so this is kind of where we're up to. So I just made this just then, so it's not going to build a stalker, but you can see now, like I can click on these units, like I can click on this stalker and then it'll start building it. Okay, one other thing is you see our money here is getting quite high. Like one of these stalkers costs 125 minerals, and a gateway like this guy costs like 150 minerals. And so that's why we're going to go for this strategy called the 4 gate. You can, off one base, you can kind of afford 4 of these gateways. So let's do that. So let's say so await self.build 4 gates, build the rest of the gateways. Async def build 4 gates, pass yourself through. And this one is quite easy to do. So if self.structures unit type ID pylon is ready, and self can afford it, and another thing is, so we don't want to just build unlimited gateways. We want to make sure that self.structures unit type dot gateway dot amount. We just want to make sure that this is less than 4. Okay, so when it's like 3, then we're going to build one more to get it to 4. Right, so we're going to have to choose a position where we want to build the gateway. So we're going to have to pick a pylon. So pylon equals self.structures unit type ID dot gateway. Actually, sorry, pylon. So we're going to pick a pylon that's ready, and just any one of them will do. And then await self.build. Okay, where do you want to build it? We want to build it near our pylon. Okay, so I think that's good. One other thing I'm just going to add before we reboot this game is I want to add a chrono boost. So you can see here, right? You see this energy, like in this nexus, you can see that purple bar, it's got full of energy. So every race has their own little skills and abilities. For Protoss, you have this thing called chrono boost, which is really useful. Basically, it costs 50 mana, and when I build something, like it builds really slow, right? So if I chrono boost it, it'll speed it up by 50% for 2 seconds. So again, when it's full, like the energy is full, it's not going to accrue any more energy, right? So when you have available energy to spend, you want to spend it. Whoops. So let's come over here and say let's await dot, I'm just going to call it chrono. Okay, we're going to try to chrono some stuff. So async define chrono self, and if so at the beginning of the game, when we have nothing, let's chrono boost the Nexus itself so that it can build the probes really fast. But then after you build the pylon, let's chrono some of these buildings here so that we can build our army much more faster. Okay, so the first thing I want to check is so if self.structures unit, so if we have a pylon, let's pick a nexus. If we have a pylon, nexus equals to self.townhalls and ready.random. If so first of all, if not self.structures unit type ID dot cybercore, so if our cybernetics core isn't ready and self.structures unit dot ID dot pylon amount is greater than 0, and our nexus dot energy is greater than equal to 50, than 50. So if you have 50 energy, then let's chrono boost it. So nexus, and we're gonna go for an ability this time because it's an ability. And it's called, I think, effect something. Effect chrono. What was it? Chrono boost energy cost, I think it was. And let's do that on the nexus. Okay, let's see how that goes. So let's get out of this game. So by the way, those stalkers I manually clicked and built them, right? So hopefully our code works. Let's go real time. Hopefully our code works and we can train our stalkers, and also we can build 4 gateways. Okay, so up to 4 gateways. Alright, let's load this up. Now, just while that's loading up, let's add some more logic into it. Self dot something like warp gate research. Okay, so with Protoss, one special thing about them is once we have those gateways and they build stalkers, you can see the bar that it trains them over time, right? But Protoss have this thing where you can research an ability called warp gate, and basically once you have that, you can just start warping in stalkers. If you don't know if you have never played this game before, then that sounds like a lot of nothing to you, so I'll show you what I mean by that. But yeah, I think we missed the chrono boost. We can, let's observe this. So we got 40 energy, so it's slowly accruing energy. So when it hits 50, it's probably going to chrono boost the nexus. Yeah. So basically, when we're researching one of those upgrades, those upgrades take a long time. So you want to start chrono boosting not just the workers. You want to just take the focus and attention to the upgrade. And Yep, and we're spending money as we go. So you can see like 150. As soon as you have that, just build a gateway. So you don't want to sit around with a lot of money. So we're gonna research the warp gate. Whoops. Oh, what's going on? So we want to research the warp gate. Another thing we want to do is actually, let's add that later. Let's come down here. Async def research warp gate research pass the self. And so remember our logic before, we had self.structures. Make sure the amount of gateways that you have is less than 4. Well, actually, if it's less than 4, then build another one. So we have 4 in total. And what I was saying before, right? So again, I'm just going to manually control some of these. It automatically builds stalkers, and these stalkers build relatively slowly. So in this warp gate, in the cybernetics core, this one here is a very cheap upgrade, but you definitely have to get it. But it takes 100 seconds, which is a really long time. So that's what we're going to do here. So async def warp gate research. Let's come over here. We're going to say if, so basically if our unit type ID cybernetics core is ready, and you can afford it. It's an ability, so ability dot research warp gate. And also the other one you always want to check is you're not already pending the upgrade, so you're not already building it. So upgrade dot warp gate research is 0. Okay, so if those conditions are met, then we can say cybercore, this is a variable, well, not cybercore, cybercore as a variable, and self.structures ready. We can say random or just first, because we're only going to have one of them. Cybercore dot research should be a thing research, and what I want to research is I want to research upgrade ID warp gate. Yep, that one. Okay, so yeah, you can see now we're just building a bunch of stalkers, which is good. This is a lot of progress. I'm pretty sure this is enough to beat any very easy AI. We also want to make sure, oh, here we go. Yeah, get out of here. So you can see as you keep building stalkers, your food is gonna start filling up. Okay, and you can see the stalkers. You can see here it's like 2 supply. Next, you can see that little pylon icon. And so when you're out of supply, then we made it so that we should keep building pylons. Okay, so we're automating all this. Eventually, we want to send these stalkers to the other side if we have enough. Okay, but one last thing before we do that is I want to research this upgrade. So yep, let's do that. And also just one last thing before we play the game again is let's just attack, or not attach, attack. Okay, let's see that. Async attack. I keep writing attach. Okay, so how are we going to attack? So basically, I mean, we can decide when we want to attack. So maybe if we have like say 10 stalkers, then we can start going for it. Okay, so let's say stalker count equals self.units unit type ID dot stalker dot amount, and if self.structures, no, let's do that later. For every stalker in the stalkers group, sorry, I'm just gonna make this a bit cleaner. Let's say stalkers equals self dot units unit type ID dot stalker. Okay, so this stalkers is the variable which has all of our stalkers in it. Stalker count is just how many stalkers you have. So for each stalker in stalkers, let's say ready.idle. We want to do something. Yeah, we're just collecting mad stalkers. Okay. So if stalker count is greater than 8, you know what? Let's just make it quicker. Greater than 4, then stalker dot attack self dot enemy start location 0. Yep, that's it. Okay, so finally we can actually attack our enemy. Now I think just with what we have, I think we're gonna definitely beat very easy. I'm actually gonna go for just easy. Yeah, let's go for real time. Okay, so we're like 75% of the way there with this build, but what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna keep testing our what we have so far, because since now we can actually go attack. Let's see how many levels we can beat. So you can see here, like very easy, medium, hard, very harder. And then you can eventually give your opponent like cheating, like cheat money and cheat vision and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. One other thing we should do is since we like, we'll see in a second, but we're gonna end up researching that upgrade, right? And remember how we had the chrono boost? Since there's a maximum a number of workers you really need on a base, once you want to chrono boost as many workers as you can, and then once our cybernetics core starts upgrading this upgrade, then let's start chrono boosting that upgrade. Okay, so let's do this. So let's say, so what have we got here? So if Nexus energy is greater than 50, then we're going to do that. Okay, so let's come over here. If Nexus energy is greater than that, then so actually here, so we have this. So cybernetics core is not, if it's not ready, then we're gonna chrono boost the Nexus. Else if well, you know what, I'm just gonna say else cyber core. Now I think this cyber core we didn't define. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, so yeah, let's get back to our game. What's going on? So yeah, you can see here now it's automatically upgrading that warp gate research. Now up until that's done, we're going to continue building our stalkers. Let's get the pylon ready so that we have more supply, and then build more stalkers. I think you can afford another one there. And I think we're going to have a chrono boost ready pretty soon. Now I want to chrono boost this onto this guy. Okay, now we should be able to see when we have, I think, what was it, like 4 stalkers that we chose? 5. So if you have more than 4 stalkers, then we're going to go for the attack, and we'll see how that goes. Our very first attack of the game. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to follow these guys. So again, this is just an easy computer on the other side, so I don't know if it's going to be able to handle our attack. But yeah, it's a long map. We're going to go all the way around. Back at home, we should just be continuing to build our gateway. So you can see here, so you know that upgrade that I was talking about, warp gate? So once you have upgraded it, it turns into this gateway, and then you can start warping in gateway units like this. Like it just automatically just comes. So that's really cool. Okay, so let's see what we got. Oh, okay, they got a few units. But nah, get the hell out of here. Alright, so just with so now I'm gonna redo this game. Nah, he's got nothing. Maybe I'll just show you like the computer. It's gonna GG out. But yeah, now I'm gonna replay the game, and before we make any other further changes, let's just make it so that we keep playing higher and higher difficulty until we eventually can't beat it. Okay, and then we'll make some tweaks. But yeah, anytime now. We've got some more units on the way. Yeah, now you got nothing. When I replay it this time, I'm just gonna go for not real time. Okay, we're just gonna go for the sped up version so we can just save some time. But yeah, just enjoy this moment while it lasts. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So they want to surrender. All right, good, we won. Okay, so let's do this again. Now I'm gonna get rid of real time so we can just speed this up, and let's go for medium. Let's see if we can beat a medium computer. I'm gonna guess. I don't know if we can beat hard, but maybe we can beat medium right now. By the way, there's so, like, even just with what we have, there's so many optimizations that we can make. Like there's so many inefficient things that we're doing in this game. But yeah, we can just kind of slowly fix that. Like I said, I eventually want to, if possible, I guess the end goal is to build a bot that like I can't beat. I'm pretty sure there's a way for me to verse my own bot. But yeah, I doubt. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can make a bot that I can't beat. All right, let's see what we've got. Let's go all the way here. Where are you? Okay. Yeah, even a medium, they don't have anything. So you can see this bot, like on the computer side, they build an expansion, which is good, but you went for a more economic play. You just don't have any units. So yeah, looks like we're gonna win again. All right, I'm gonna exit out of this. Let's see how we do against the hard opponent. Man, it's too easy. Hard. Also, just let me know if you guys have ever played this game before. I'm actually curious, because with this whole video I've been kind of explaining the game as well as the code. So yeah, just let me know if you've ever actually played this game, or if you're like aware of it at least. But yeah, let's go for the same. We're gonna go for the same strategy, and let's see if we can beat the hard opponent. By the way, I think this game came out when I was in like high school, when I was in like year 10 or something. So I've been playing ever since it came out, and this year actually I stopped playing because I wanted to focus on coding. But what better way to learn coding than to code a bot? So you can see, like, yeah, now we can't beat it. They have enough units, so this bot is good enough. So I'm actually going to surrender because yeah, we're not going to be able to beat this guy. Okay, so that's where our warp gates come in handy. Okay, so you know how we trained our units way back at home, and then by the time it walks all the way across the map, the other opponent has had so much time to just build, right? So let's put some more pressure on them. Okay, the first thing is, I don't know, did we adjust this chrono boost? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we're chronoing this sidebar. Okay, so what should we do? We're gonna build a proxy pylon. So basically, for our warp gate, we can build it. We can warp in stalkers anywhere where we have those pylons, and you can build a pylon anywhere on the map. Okay, so we're gonna kind of proxy one near the opponent. Okay, so where's our pylon method? Here, build pylons. So right now we've just got it building near our nexus. And so what I'm going to do is, let's say, build proxy pylon. Proxy just means close to the opponent. Okay, so bam bam, if self.structures unit type ID dot gateway amount is equal to 4. So once we've built those 4 gateways, I'm gonna come up here and I'm actually gonna create something here. I'm gonna say hang on, what should I call this? Oh yeah, proxy built, and we'll set it to be false. Okay, so we only want to build one proxy pylon near the opponent, and every other pylon we just want to build in our base. Okay, so currently we'll just set it to be false. But once we come down here, so we want to check so if we haven't built, and not self.proxy built, and you can afford it, position self dot. Okay, so this is some new stuff. So game info, let's go for the map center. Oh, I think I need map center, and we're going to build towards our enemy. So enemy start location, and let's say around 20. So from the middle to our enemy location with a range of about 20. And so then we can say await.self-build, build the pylon near that position. Okay, and then once we have built that pylon, then let's change this parameter to be true. Okay, so this is only going to execute if the proxy build is false, right, which will make this true. And then once this is true, then these are not going to execute anymore. Okay, and then after that we're just going to build as we usually did in our base. Okay, so why did we build that proxy pylon? Well, we built it so that we can actually warp some stalkers in there close to the base. Okay, so let's come over here and let's say async def warp stalkers, pass the self through. And okay, so with this one, very similar to train the stalkers. So let's come over here. I'm going to say for warp gate in self.structures warp gate.ready. So for each of the warp gates that are ready, we're going to do a for loop and say, all right, so abilities equals await self dot get what is this, get available abilities warp gate. Proxy is equal to the pylon that's closest to the enemy. So self dot structures, so we're going to get the pylons. But we're going to pick the one that's closest to the enemy. So self dot enemy start location. Enemy start location 0. Okay. So basically this is checking, is warp gate finished? Okay, and if it is, so if ability ability.id warp gate train stalker in abilities, and you can afford it. Then warp gate, and now we can warp it in. Warp in unit type ID dot stalker. And we're gonna find a place to warp it in, right? So we've got our proxy pylon. So I'm gonna call it placement is equal to the proxy pylon position, and just somewhere around it. So random on distance, like 3, and placement. Okay, good. So once our warp gates are ready, it's going to start warping in, not at home, but to the pylon that's closest to the enemy location. Okay, which means we're going to save time, travel time basically. Okay, we're not going to give the opponent enough time to build up. And I think that is G. Let's see. Hang on, where's my mouse? Okay, again, I'm just gonna go for the non-real time. Alright, let's speed this up. And I think that's basically it, I think, for what I'm gonna show you today. Guys, remember, like, all this documentation you can find in the file that you cloned. Okay, but the best way to learn is to actually try to code this yourself. Okay, so main thing I want to look out for now in this run is us building a pylon like way over here, like way closer to the enemy. Okay, something went wrong. No attribute proxy built. Hang on. Okay, something's gone wrong here. Proxy built. Alright, there was actually a mistake I did up here. Yeah, this one here. It should be self.proxy, not se2. God damn. Alright. Okay, so yeah, let's speed this up. I think right now I've got it to be we're attacking once we have 4 stalkers, right? So we'll see how that goes. We might have to just maybe build up to like 8 or something. Oh yeah, I forgot to add in this attacking thing. If you've got 4 stalkers, we're going to attack. Otherwise, let's say else stalker dot attack the proxy position, which we haven't defined yet. Well, let's see how we're going. Yeah, not so good. But yeah, at least we're building. So this is our proxy pylon. You can see we're building. We're warping the stalkers here now, so we're much closer to the base. The problem that we're having right now is we're just sending the stalkers in like 1 by 1 or 4 by 4, right? So this is where we're gonna come back over here to our attack function, and I'm gonna say the proxy position is the pylon that's closest to, so I'm gonna say, hang on, let's do this. First of all, I'm just gonna check self.structures unit type ID.pylon. Yeah, we're getting wrecked. Pylon, make sure that this is ready. And then if you have a pylon ready, then proxy is going to be self structures unit type ID. Yeah, they beat us. Pylon. Dot closest to the enemy location. So later on in the game we have a lot of pylons, right? So we're just going to pick the one that's the closest to the enemy position, and that's where we're going to put our position. So position is proxy dot position dot random on distance 3. Okay, and proxy position is there. And also let's maybe wait till like 8 stalkers or more than 8. Alright, fingers crossed, people. One thing to mention about StarCraft is there's 2 major like dimensions to the game. One is macro, which is basically what we've been doing the whole time. Macroing meaning like building up workers and the economy and building army and stuff like that. And then there's also another element which is micro, and micro is more about, with the given units that you have, how can you make the most out of them. Okay, so it looks like something went wrong here. So let's just see the error. 168 in this guy. Okay, so something's weird. So I forgot a 0. In StarCraft, it's mainly a 1 vs 1 game, but there's actually a 2 vs 2 version, like 2 vs 2 mode, 3v3, and 4v4, and free for all. So your enemy start location, you might have multiple enemies, but in a 1v1 game, we're just going to pick the first enemy. So that's, I think, the problem. I hope so. But yeah, as I was saying, most of what we're doing now is macro, right? We're building up army. But there's another cool element which I really like, which is micro. And micro, like I said, it's basically with the given units that you have, how can you make the most out of them? And it's really interesting because in this game, if you have good micro, like even if you have 4 stalkers, what you can do with those 4 stalkers can change quite drastically. But yeah, let's have a run through this, see how our strategy is going. Hopefully you can see our guys like going all the way there to build our proxy pylon, and this is where we're going to start building. Yep, so all of our stalkers, I got them to rally to the nearest pylon that's closest to it. Looks like some weird things going on. I'm building a gateway, but let's see how our attack goes. Still not too good, like we're still getting pretty owned. Okay, in that case we're gonna need some micro. Okay, so as I build this micro method, I'm actually just gonna reboot this, and so that we can see the game slowly, and I can explain what I mean by micro. So await self.micro. Let's come over all the way at the end. Async def micro self. So with our stalkers, right? So let's first of all get them all in our stalker variable. Self.units unit type ID dot stalker. Enemy enemy location is self dot enemy location 0. And let's say if self.structures unit.id pylon is ready, Then pylon equals to self.structures, unit type ID, pylon, and grab the one that's closest to the enemy location. And let's do a quick for loop. So let's go down for each stalker in stalkers. We can check something. So the attack cooldown, what was it? So if stalker dot weapon cooldown is equal to 0, stalker attack enemy location. Elif stalker dot weapon cooldown is less than 0. Stalker dot move to our pylon, and just anything else, just stalker move to our pylon. Okay, so basically, right, if you look at our game right now, weapon cooldown, so each unit has a certain cooldown with how fast it shoots, like its DPS. So once our stalker has made a shot, like if our cooldown is ready, then let's attack our unit. And if our weapon is not cooled down yet, then we're going to move away. Okay, so we can have this sort of kiting motion, and I'll try to explain what that looks like before I show you the code, before I show you the automated version. But yeah, let's build a stalker. And basically this, if we didn't have this before, it just attacks our enemy and then it just dies, right? It either wins the fight or it loses the fight. But this is really cool because with a bit of micro, you can kind of retreat from the army, and that's one of the benefits to these stalkers. It's like they're very mobile and they have a attack thing. So I can show you what I mean. So you can see if I attack this rock, you see how like the speed at which it attacks. You can do cool things like I can move and attack, so you can kind of micro your way around. So I'm just gonna bring it to our closest stalker. Okay, so let's see what that looks like if we didn't have any micro, right? So let's just grab these guys and I attack. It's just gonna take it right in the face. Okay, and that's why we keep losing our stalkers. If we're in a bad fight, we want to retreat. So like this. Okay, they clearly have so much, but we're just taking it right in the face and we're just losing all these stalkers. Okay, so the effect that I want to do is, let's get rid of this. And I think this is the last run I'm going to do. So I'm just going to, so bear with me, I'm not going to do real time. Oh, sorry, I am going to do real time. I'm not going to speed it up because I want to show you how that micro looks with what we've got. And hopefully this last bit of code is enough to beat a hard opponent. Maybe let me know if you enjoy these kind of AI bot stuff, because I'm gonna continue making them. I will continue making Flutter videos as well. I was thinking maybe the next Flutter game I make is gonna be Mario, like Super Mario, because it's like a platform game, right? The last game I made was Flappy Bird, and I introduced that element of gravity, like jumping up and down. So I think I should be able to make that into a small platform game. Also, if any of you have used Flame for Flutter, just let me know as well. Let me know how that is. For some reason, I just haven't got into it. I've just been building all my games by scratch. And also another thing that I just want to talk about is there are a lot of video games out there, right? But STARCRAFT has kind of gotten this stamp of approval from the AI community. It's like out of all these games, it's like they chose to pursue StarCraft for artificial intelligence after chess and after Go. And I feel like that speaks volumes to the type of game that this is. And maybe if you first encounter this game, it might seem really complicated, and it actually does become complicated, but once you grasp the basic idea, which is just, you know, earning money, and then investing in army, and then attacking, it's just a war game. It's very simple, but from my experience in playing this game, the beauty of it comes from the fact that the complexity arises from how simple the rules are. And it's very similar to this is gonna sound stupid, but it's very similar to like real life. Like, for example, everything I've showed you in this video is just on one base, but if I wanted to, I can just skip all these buildings and build it later, and then just build a nexus here, and then build more workers and build more money. That would be a very greedy approach, right? But like if we attack and we walk across the map and it doesn't work, then maybe it's a better idea to actually expand and go for a more economical play. And the thing I love about this game is there's no right or wrong. If you look at the professional players at the top, that's kind of the fun of it, which is kind of like all the other sports. Every player has a style to them, like their personality shines through in the game. And especially in this game, because it's a game of incomplete information, there's a lot of lying and deceiving, and sort of you got to feel out your opponent. And and with that, it kind of goes really deep. So yeah, there's our proxy pylon. And the other thing is, with this actual game, DeepMind has already made something called AlphaStar. I think you guys maybe heard of it before. AlphaGo was the AI for Go, and AlphaStar is for StarCraft. And they did use deep learning to make a really good AI bot. And I hope they do more stuff with it in the future. And it's actually thanks to DeepMind that Blizzard, which is the company that made this game, because of DeepMind and the AI research, Blizzard actually opened up and made this API so that they can do their AI research on it, and which is why some people like us can finally do it. Okay, and this is the micro I was talking about. You see how it's like it's attacking and then kind of moving back. So it's faster and it's got more range than these Marines. So instead of just sitting there and taking it in the face, you can micro. So it looks like that micro wasn't good enough, right? So right now all we've got it doing is just moving back after each attack, right? So yeah, so it's good in that kind of situation. So yeah, we've got some more fellas coming around, right? We're warping in more units, and I think, I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Do you think we can beat this guy? What level difficulty is this? Is this hard? Yeah, this is hard. But yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. If we end up beating this bot at hard, then I'm just gonna leave the video to just end at that. And yeah, maybe I'll beat very hard in another video. Yeah, you can see that the opponent thinks it's kind of lost. It's like sending all its workers to attack me. So yeah, this might take a little bit of time, but I think eventually we should be able to win. Like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know below. And also let me know if anyone actually plays this game. This game has been around for a really long time, but it's, a lot of kids these days want to just play real simple games like Fortnite and I don't know, other console games and stuff like that. Ever since I found StarCraft, I stopped playing games altogether, like any other game, because it didn't really interest me. There's something very pure about this game. But yeah, I'm just gonna start controlling him. I'm just gonna go in and I think we're good to go. Let's bring him all the way up here. Yeah, he's got nothing. Alright, I'm just gonna leave it at that for this video, and Let me know if you guys are interested in this kind of thing. Like I said, I will continue making mobile apps with Flutter. But yeah, I also want to kind of explore this AI field as well, because that's something I'm really passionate about. But yeah, hopefully this video wasn't too long and drawn out. There were some moments in there that we had to load up the screen, load up the game, but hopefully you guys learned something. Yeah, no, we got so many units. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Laters.